The story begins with the existence of massive and ominous doors known as gates that appeared worldwide, from which an abundance of monsters started to emerge. Humanity was not ready for this disastrous occurrence, as conventional human weaponry proved futile against these resilient monsters. Many of these creatures, due to their peculiar and uncommon traits, were classified as underworld beings, causing widespread havoc around the world. A newfound source of optimism emerged when doors exhibiting different colors became a symbol for humanity, known as the trial doors. Individuals who successfully passed through these doors were considered chosen and were referred to as players. These individuals emerged as the gates suddenly appeared, beginning a series of triumphs against the monsters. Humanity adapted to the gate's mechanisms. Each gate had a timer, and when it reached 0, it signaled the resurgence of underworld creatures pouring out again. A group of players, known as the Sky Clock, reassured every one of their commitments to preventing this resurgence, effectively becoming champions of the people. However, not all players managed to clear these gates successfully. Some still struggled to eliminate the monsters, and their failure resulted in granting all the monsters within that gate the ability to escape from it. In the midst of chaos, a man positioned himself on top of a building, observing the situation. This individual, enveloped in a rainbow aura, was Ariake Subaru, a significant player. Ariake Subaru, acting as the central character, commanded the monsters to cease their actions. People who had been fleeing from the dragon noticed him, promptly recognizing the main character. Relief swept across their faces upon his sudden appearance. Among all the players worldwide, Ariake Subaru held the unique distinction of being the sole individual to traverse a rainbow door, granting him an unimaginable power that set him apart from others. A supremely dominant protagonist swiftly quelled the dragon with a singular strike, achieving this extraordinary feat. This figure ascended to the apogee of the world's hierarchy, lauded universally as the populace's rescuer. A juvenile enthusiast conveyed to his mother the remarkable impressiveness of Subaru, expressing a desire to emulate him in the future. Upon learning of this, Subaru responded with an endearing smile before departing, bidding adieu to the assembly. This act epitomized the principal obligation of the players, the protection of humanity. As Subaru reached the summit of the edifice, he was welcomed by the Skyclock group, revered as among the most formidable players. Clad in a dark robe, an elfish figure praised our main character while playfully acknowledging his newfound fame. He struggled to comprehend that he was now universally acknowledged, having been considered inconsequential not long ago. Subaru reflected on his challenging past, once a vulnerable figure, now assuming a crucial role in guiding humanity's efforts to clear the gates and prevent their extinction. All of this commenced when he ventured through that rainbow door, evoking nostalgic reminiscence about its importance. Despite bearing signs of hardship on his countenance, Subaru tenaciously approached the door, facing challenges that had previously impeded his path and even endangered his journey's continuity. In his viewpoint, this marked the second trial door to confront him, and he was resolute in not letting this opportunity evade him again. Determined to avoid past errors, Subaru fearlessly opened the door and crossed its threshold, even as his life teetered on the edge. This expression belonged to someone fatigued by being overlooked and driven to reclaim what was rightfully his. Years prior, during the Rainbow Door encounter, Subaru spent time watching the news with his brother, focusing on the gold-ranked player named Hirosaka Renji. At the tender age of 15, our protagonist held the gold-tier player in high esteem, while his 13-year-old stepbrother, Ariake Taiga, maintained a rather unfavorable disposition. Their lack of blood relation came to light, revealing them as stepbrothers, with Taiga harboring a deep resentment toward this familial setup. A news report detailed a gate collapse that unleashed underworld creatures, resulting in 16 casualties. Renji emphasized the gate's timers, warning of the monsters they would release upon expiration, underscoring the importance of players clearing these gates to prevent such calamities. Despite Renji's successful resolution of a previous unforeseen event, it resulted in regrettable deaths, leaving him dissatisfied. Renji directly implored viewers to report gate sightings, assuring them of the player's unwavering dedication to safeguarding humanity. Our central character found these players to be a source of inspiration, displaying a luminous countenance. Renji further delineated the criteria for selecting players, emphasizing extraordinary brilliance and a readiness to make substantial sacrifices. Initially skeptical, Taiga observed Subaru's fixed gaze on a resplendent golden door, likely the trial Renji had mentioned. As Subaru reached for the door, Taiga abruptly intervened, pushing him away, leaving Subaru surprised and incredulous at Taiga's actions. Taiga, appearing contrite, explained his intention to claim this opportunity for himself. 3 years later, at the age of 18, Subaru found himself ensnared by a group of tormentors who relentlessly pelted him with stones. In the midst of this distress, Taiga suddenly emerged, evoking memories of his appearance through the same golden door years prior. Since then, Taiga had risen as the youngest gold-ranked player in Japan, harboring a persistent resentment towards his older brother, Subaru. This was due to Subaru's association with lower-ranked bullies, causing Taiga discomfort in their relationship. Taiga acquired a stone from one of the bullies and, as he grasped it, his hand emitted a luminous radiance. The manifestation of his unique ability, the golden arm, instilled a sense of apprehension in everyone. This ability was renowned for its similarity to the illustrious golden sword of Harasaka Renji. At that instant, tears filled Subaru's eyes as he grasped the intention behind Taiga's actions, directed at him. Taiga poised himself, gathering strength before launching the stone towards Subaru. Though narrowly missing its target, the impact dispersed the clouds, perpetuating Subaru's humiliating plight. Taiga nonchalantly allowed the bullies to persist in their torment while onlookers refrained from intervening. Subaru remained isolated, perceived as feeble by those around him. Taiga, acclaimed as the youngest gold-ranked player in Japan, was credited with the triumphant annihilation of the gates in Shinagawa City and Koto City, consequently achieving celebrity status and being hailed as a heroic figure by the public. He was observed in joyful celebration with his parents, where his mother visibly exuded pride in his ability to financially support the family despite still being a student. She subtly juxtaposed Taiga's achievements against Subaru's perceived lack of success. Meanwhile, their father maintained a silent stance, seemingly viewing Subaru as inferior. Adjacent to their opulent estate, Subaru spent his days secluded in a restricted space dedicated to his studies. Due to the vast difference in their physical abilities, Taiga's requests would summon Subaru to action. On a specific occasion, Subaru was tasked with procuring more drinks for Taiga, a repetitive chore that gradually chipped away at his mental stability. The idea of enduring this ceaseless cycle became insufferable for Subaru. He increasingly grappled with feelings of insignificance and feared that his parents regarded him as dispensable. The thought of an endless future burdened with chores imposed by Taiga instilled deep dread in him. The ongoing oppressive reality ignited within Subaru a yearning for freedom from this unrelenting cycle. Reflecting on the day the golden door appeared, he pondered the different life he could have led had he embraced that opportunity. Amid regrets for past decisions, the tormentors resurfaced, employing Subaru as a vent for their frustrations, leaving him in a state of helplessness. Saotari, unhindered by any objection from Taiga, spearheaded the bullying episode, inflicting further distress upon Subaru. The protagonist's attempt to evade was futile, as the pursuing players were inherently quicker than Subaru. Saotari swiftly executed a movement aimed at Subaru, hitting his target. Subaru was astounded to once again face such aggression and realized these assailants might be plotting his demise. In sheer desperation and fearing the end, Subaru cried out for help, desperately clinging to the waning hope of survival. His attackers shoved him into an alley, renewing their assault with another series of blows. In Subaru's mind, the certainty of his impending doom occupied his thoughts. Saotari then unleashed his Red Rose skill, conjuring a fireball toward Subaru. However, an unforeseen turn of events disrupted the attack. One of the group members witnessed something materializing in front of them. Abruptly, a trial door appeared right between the observer and Subaru, abruptly halting the entire assault, leaving everyone motionless. The bullies were bewildered by the sudden appearance of a trial door, seemingly emerging out of nowhere. Initially taking on a copper hue, the door shifted to silver after a brief moment, then transformed into a golden door, leaving Subaru and the attackers entirely confounded. Suddenly, a surge of intensified pressure enveloped them, causing the golden door to undergo further changes, ultimately manifesting as a rainbow-colored door. The central character fixated his gaze on the extraordinary gateway ahead, while the accompanying assailants speculated about its potential for greater potency compared to the conventional golden gates. Eager to harness this prospect, the pair vied to be the first to cross the threshold, yet the door's knob was firmly held by Subaru himself. Resolute and steadfast, Subaru was steadfast in ensuring this opportunity wouldn't evade him once more. The duo protested, averse to conceding the door to Subaru. Saitari even unleashed another fireball towards Subaru, resulting in a detonation that severed the lower extremities of the protagonist, eliciting excruciating pain and anguished cries. Amidst this suffering, a reel of Subaru's life played before his eyes. Tapping into his dwindling strength, he struggled to remain conscious and secure what he deemed to be rightfully his. Displaying unyielding determination, he successfully traversed to the other side of the door right before succumbing to unconsciousness. Driven to restore all he had lost, be it strength, stature, dignity, or affluence, a message appeared above his head, welcoming him into the next phase. An entity with a complexion of pallid purple and ragged clothing advanced towards Subaru. In front of him stood a being, a monstrous creature, which wore a sinister grin as the system notified Subaru about the imminent initiation of the Rainbow Trial. The creature within the chamber softly tapped Subaru's head and initiated a deep exploration of his psyche, resulting in a surge of electrical energy emanating from Subaru's form. This signified that the creature was in the process of mending his injuries. Subaru's vision was restored, his cardiac and respiratory systems rejuvenated. Upon awakening, he confronted the visage of an entity that evoked an overwhelming surge of dread. Recalling the events leading up to this moment, Subaru concluded that this healing entity was the door's custodian, a concept gleaned from Renji's discourse. Renji, the heroic figure, conveyed that each trial door held a unique scenario governed by a distinct ruler. To become a player, one required the recognition of this ruler. Subaru perceived the mysterious being before him as the entity he must persuade, heightening his apprehension about the imminent trial. Renji's past trials indicated that the customary challenge involved confronting the door's ruler in combat. Such confrontations resulted in the ruler's acknowledgement, endowing Renji with abilities like the iconic Golden Sword. The trial typically revolved around striking the ruler. Subaru mulled over how to achieve this with the enigmatic creature standing before him. Over time, the creature grew disinterested and eventually addressed Subaru, questioning whether he was mentally impaired, as he seemed fixated on observing it. Subaru, now more composed, reassured the creature of his mental stability. The ruler found this sequence of events baffling. The stipulation seemed simple: Subaru merely had to strike the ruler to inherit its power. Subaru's sudden outburst comprised an inquiry about the creature's identity, referencing the doors of trial and their spectrum of colors: copper, silver, and gold. The creature's agitation intensified upon Subaru's fixation on the rainbow spectrum. The ruler, perturbed by the conversation's diverging path, signaled towards Subaru with a quick movement of its fingers. This action summoned an intense burst of red energy that appeared abruptly. The force narrowly missed Subaru, creating a brief moment of impending peril. Subaru's confidence faltered, considering it might be an insurmountable task to challenge a ruler possessing such overwhelming power. In response, the ruler once more voiced its urgency, urging Subaru to hasten the process, longing to return to its domain swiftly. Despite Subaru's willingness to comply, his trembling legs impeded his movement, a human reaction that baffled the creature once again. With limited options, the ruler took action. A red sword materialized before Subaru, leaving him in a state of profound surprise. Looking up, an even more astonishing sight unfolded: diverse weaponry descended from above, encircling him entirely. The ruler conveyed to Subaru that if he was too apprehensive to strike, he had the option to utilize one of those weapons to resolve the situation. In case this strategy proved ineffective, the ruler suggested that Subaru should consider returning home and seeking out another trial door. Faced with these choices, Subaru grappled with the decision to validate his worth to the ruler or retrace his steps to discover an alternative path, altering his destiny. Summoning his inner resilience, Subaru steadied his legs, piquing the ruler's curiosity with his unexpected resolve. Electing a different course, Subaru chose to exit through an alternate door. The ruler, somewhat vexed by Subaru's resoluteness, found his hesitation exasperating despite his fervent desire for a transformative life. This comparison to an insect barred Subaru's passage to the door, prompting memories of prior denigrations, evoking the disdainful gazes he once endured. The ruler persisted in goading Subaru, insinuating a life of abject misery, a plight of supplication and prostration to others. This declaration moved Subaru to tears. Subaru awoke, recognizing the reflection of his former self, a destiny he fervently resisted by battling unending fear. Moments later, he struck the rainbow door forcefully, confronting those present about the mistreatment he suffered. This display of resistance continued for several minutes, aimed at the arrogant figures who held themselves in great esteem. The ruler's grin widened in response to Subaru's persistent queries, as he expressed frustration at the unbridled authority wielded by those in power. The ruler's comments provoked laughter, asserting the dominance of the powerful in steering the world's course, which nearly pushed Subaru to the brink of his sanity. Old wounds inflicted by individuals of such stature, who dehumanized him, resurfaced in Subaru's mind, fueling his mounting irritation. Subsequently, Subaru charged at the ruler with clenched fists, ready to confront the imposing figure. His strike hit its target, but the result was disappointingly unremarkable. The ruler recognized Subaru's potential to achieve great feats through passionate determination. Showing approval, the ruler acknowledged Subaru's accomplishment by gently tapping his shoulders. The creature praised Subaru's navigation of the trial, recognizing the intense emotions in Subaru's fist. To Subaru's surprise, the ruler unexpectedly bit him, enveloping them in a crimson aura. Startled and pained by this unforeseen action, Subaru misconstrued the ruler's gesture as an attempt to subdue him, prompting a retaliatory response in the form of a bite back. Subaru's confident claim to the power further intrigued the ruler, prompting an offer of additional power. The red aura transformed into a vibrant rainbow hue, overwhelming Subaru with energy, leading to a moment of unconsciousness, officially marking the end of the trial. The ruler assured Subaru of their future meeting and identified itself as Vanquish, the ruler of the rainbow door, as it began to fade away. Despite the ruler's laughter, a notification designated Ariake Subaru as a level 1 player, titled Vampire or Progenitor, gaining a skill known as Blood Mole and Rainbow skill bonuses, including Blood Usurper, Those Who Hate Glory, and Those Who Walk Under the Sun. As the trial concluded, the surroundings disintegrated, leaving only a brief 30 seconds before Subaru would be trapped. Immobilized, Subaru descended freely into the void. The shattered rainbow door led the real-world bullies to believe Subaru had failed, heightening their anger. However, a rainbow-like rift emerged, and Subaru reappeared, astonishing the bullies who previously disregarded him upon realizing he had become a player. Subaru, once their target, radiated a vastly different aura, feeling reborn and displaying a markedly transformed demeanor and presence. Returning to reality, Subaru acknowledged his status as a player, empowered by Vanquish. Sawatari attempted to strike Subaru, who effortlessly evaded the attacks. Subaru's eyes glowed, granting him the ability to anticipate Sawatari's moves and evade each strike elegantly. Despite his novice status, Subaru noticed minimal damage from Sawatari's attempts, realizing he was in the midst of a tutorial, learning the fundamental aspects of perceiving the world as a game. Sawatari found his attacks to be ineffective against Subaru. Subaru's comrade alerted Sawatari to Subaru's advanced status as a player, stoking Sawatari's fury. In response, Sawatari invoked his skill, conjuring a fireball and hurling it towards Subaru, who was unable to react swiftly. The resulting explosion demonstrated Subaru's surprising resilience, with only a minor health setback despite the formidable might of the attack. Sawatari grappled with the notion of his devastating attack on a car hardly impacting Subaru. Despite the suggestion from the blue-haired companion to withdraw, acknowledging Subaru's elevated power exceeding that of the esteemed golden players, Sawatari remained resolute in the immediate defeat of Subaru. His apprehension lay in Subaru's potential growth, rendering future victory unattainable. Directing his companion to assail Subaru fully, Sawatari reinforced his determination. Meanwhile, Subaru stood composed as dark silken threads enveloped him, akin to the entangling skill that previously ensnared him, emanating from the blue-haired companion. Despite Subaru's attempts to liberate himself, Saitari advanced, brandishing his sword towards Subaru, prompting Subaru to contemplate his course of action. Subaru, still unfamiliar with his abilities, unexpectedly materialized multiple red swords to counter Sawatari's attack, empowered by the Blood Mole skill under Vanquish's guidance. The fabric of Subaru's reality shifted, reminding him to explore the potential of this skill autonomously. As these swords caused significant harm to Saitari, he persisted in his assault, attributing blame to Subaru for his friend's demise and accusing him of purloining the Rainbow Door. These accusations fueled Subaru's rage. In a surge of vehement animosity, Subaru's outcry triggered a surge of rainbow-hued energy emanating from him. Despite this, Saitari pressed on undeterred, making another charged move at Subaru, who met him head-on with a punch. The impact of Subaru's blow shattered Sawatari's sword, breaching his defense, propelling Saitari into the air before crashing back to the ground. With a single punch, Subaru emerged triumphant over the copper-ranked player, showcasing his newfound prowess and a determination to transcend his formerly victimized identity. As Subaru advanced, the swift activation of the blue-haired individual's skill ensnared his friend with wires, prompting the bullies to rapidly flee the alley, leaving Subaru profoundly puzzled by their sudden departure. He found their hasty escape reminiscent of a makeshift Spider-Man, intriguing his thoughts about the source of his newfound abilities. Emerging victoriously from the clash, Subaru knelt to proclaim his triumph, even amidst his elation, making a thorough assessment of the scene and the remnants of his opponent. Thoughts filled his mind as he contemplated the implications of these remnants and his subsequent actions. The subsequent day witnessed law enforcement's arrival at the site where they discovered a body brutally severed in two, inducing a sense of discomfort and suspicion within the police ranks. Renji, a distinguished gold-ranked player, personally investigated the ghastly occurrence, acknowledging the victim's lower status as a copper player. Considering the intricacy of the situation, Renji surmised the perpetrator must possess a rank of at least silver, furthering the sense of unease, not from Renji but rather from Ludwig, the bestower of powers. Renji, prioritizing player unity for gate elimination, found it inappropriate to delve into this matter at the moment, focusing instead on the gate, particularly the massive portal known as the Skyclock. Meanwhile, Taiga, upon discovering his brother Subaru's room vacant and Subaru absent since the previous night, found unsettling news on his phone about a copper-ranked player's defeat. Recognizing the face in the news as one of the individuals who had bullied his brother, Taiga's anger surged, leading him to unleash a powerful punch into Subaru's room, perturbed by the notion of his brother becoming a player in Shinagawa City again. Notably, in Shinagawa City, the Japan Players Federation headquarters stood as a significant building dedicated to awaken players and responsible for gate-related matters. Subaru reached the Japan Players Federation headquarters. A genial woman warmly welcomed Subaru, extending congratulations on his formal induction as a player. Profoundly appreciative, Subaru expressed gratitude and commenced his official registration as a player in Japan. The plight of unregistered players, restricted from gate entry and leveling opportunities exclusive to these domains, became evident. Subaru, sensing the urgency to fortify his capabilities amid a recent grave incident escalating to a murder case, comprehended the looming discovery of his connection to the event, especially by someone like Taiga. He resolved to hasten his skill development in anticipation of the challenges ahead. Upon acquiring player status, Subaru aimed to gather crucial knowledge. He learned that clearing a gate augmented one's level and that the gate's difficulty was gauged by the number of stars, which could be exchanged for currency. Presenting a star acquired during an altercation with Saitari the previous night, the woman's demeanor swiftly shifted upon confirming the star's origin, instilling a sudden panic within Subaru. He hastily contrived an alibi, claiming to have cleared a gate the prior day. However, the woman divulged the illegality of gate clearing, entailing severe penalties of up to 5 years imprisonment or a fine amounting to 1 million yen, prompting Subaru to deeply contemplate his next steps. Meanwhile, officers at the police station were taken aback by the presence of a distinguished gold-ranked player inquiring about Taiga's intentions, there to scrutinize evidence relating to the prior night's homicide. The star's valuation shocked Subaru, leading him to delve deeper after receiving an exhaustive explanation of gate clearing rules. Luckily, the registration attendant pardoned Subaru's first offense, providing a sense of relief and renewed determination to seek out more gates with swiftness. Before embarking on this quest, Subaru chose to revamp his appearance, experiencing a warm reception and making purchases that reduced his initial million-yen reserve. This transformation induced a sense of renewal within Subaru, allowing him to relish these novel experiences. Even his visit to a cafe for a caramel macchiato became an emotionally resonant occurrence. While enjoying his drink, Subaru was engulfed by emotions as the world around him seemed to illuminate, marking a distinct contrast from his previous life. He relished a newfound sense of liberty, tasting it for the first time. Determined to finish his coffee before embarking on his quest to clear more gates, Subaru found solace in the remarkable improvement in his life since becoming a player. However, this serene reverie was abruptly interrupted by Taiga's discovery of his location. Feeling the immense pressure emanating from his younger brother, Subaru was abruptly expelled from the building, tossed into the path of oncoming traffic. His lack of control propelled him toward a mother and her baby, setting off panic as a collision loomed. Sensing the urgency to protect innocent lives, Subaru swiftly deployed his blood mold skill, fashioning wires from his own blood to avert the collision and protect the mother and child, advising them to flee. Despite the considerable damage sustained, Subaru recognized the determined approach of Taiga. Aware that he was about to confront a gold-ranked player, Subaru, at level 1, knew he couldn't avoid this impending battle. Their confrontation caused a standstill in traffic, leaving drivers bewildered and pedestrians fleeing the unseen threat. Positioned against each other, Taiga remained resolute in defeating Subaru, whose stats remained at level 1, significantly inferior to Taiga's. As Taiga initiated an assault, Subaru employed his skill to counter the attack, endeavoring to gain a strategic advantage, while contemplating guidance from Vanquish. Taiga, puzzled by Subaru's skill, aimed to end the battle swiftly with a single successful hit. Surrounded by a red mist, Subaru intrigued Taiga, who suspected it to be another of Subaru's abilities. Despite a powerful strike fueled by Subaru's brotherly torment, Taiga delivered a devastating hit on Subaru's abdomen, causing excruciating pain and dwindling health. To counter Taiga's strength, Subaru concealed himself, strategizing by transforming his blood into a mist-like substance. However, his ultimate attack, despite mastery, failed to penetrate Taiga's defenses. Subaru, realizing his significant disadvantage, was overpowered by Taiga in various aspects, including skills, speed, strength, and defense. From Taiga's perspective, he recognized Subaru's unique ability to manipulate his blood, urging the urgency to defeat him swiftly. Focused on overwhelming his adversary, Taiga utilized the Golden Arm skill, causing significant damage to Subaru at close range. Subaru, acknowledging his inability to match Taiga's power, devised a strategy to counter his brother's force. With his health down to a mere 5 HP, Subaru absorbed Taiga's attack, surprising his younger brother with his resilience. The Crimson Sphere, akin to an airbag, remained firmly affixed to Subaru's arms despite his attempts to dislodge it. Using his blood, Subaru crafted an unyielding, gum-like substance, as Taiga grappled with this vexing attack, surrounded by more crimson orbs. Acknowledging the urgency of the situation, Subaru understood that his blood manipulation skill had a brief 10-second window before reverting to its normal state. Determined to halt Taiga's advance, Subaru exhausted all his mana points to create adhesive crimson orbs, successfully immobilizing Taiga. Despite Taiga's efforts, he remained helplessly ensnared. Availing himself of this opportunity, Taiga, cautioning Subaru, learned that Subaru's aim was merely to survive the moment rather than to defeat him. Subaru further expanded his mana reserves to create additional immobilizing crimson spheres, nearly depleting his mana points but effectively restraining Taiga. Subaru, with a mere 9 MP left, further limited Taiga's movements, employing his blood manipulation with precise timing. Vanishing into a crimson fog, Subaru escaped before Taiga could react, surrounding Taiga in the smokescreen, signifying Subaru's successful getaway. Despite Taiga's frustration and determination to pursue Subaru, the intervention of other gold-ranked players, including Hara Sakurenchi and their companions, under Renji's influence, halted Taiga's actions. Recognizing the impending restraint, Taiga realized that Renji had taken charge of the situation to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Subaru emerged unscathed, retaining only 5 HPM and 2 MP. Reflecting on his inability to confront Taiga and the ruined state of his newly purchased clothes, Subaru recalled the joy of shopping and the necessity of a more robust strategy to regain his freedom. The next day, a conflict arose at a gate involving Amamiya Sayaka, a copper-ranked player, engaged in a dispute with men attempting to assert control over the gate. Despite Sayaka's confidence and use of her aura, she eventually succumbed to the group of men, conceding defeat after a brief period. Evidently, Sayaka occupied a level 8 spot in the copper rank, while her rivals boasted levels exceeding 10. Grax, in an attempt to belittle her, highlighted the principle of survival of the fittest, indicating her minimal chances of prevailing against him. Despite the taunting, Sayaka remained resolute, her fortitude fortified by her past ordeal when she was ousted from her initial team due to perceived weakness. Unwavering, she resisted yielding to the gate, which agitated Grax, signaling the impending end of their confrontation. Amid Sayaka's internal struggle and the acknowledgement of her meager odds for triumph, Subaru intervened upon realizing the gate's dominance by strength. As Subaru offered to join the competition, all eyes turned to him. Facing potential harassment, he swiftly exhibited his prowess by utilizing his known skill, elevating a man with his red ball ability, projecting a commanding aura that disconcerted the onlookers. The men charged aggressively at Subaru, but their inferiority was swiftly nullified by his agility and adept combat abilities, rendering them powerless. Despite their skepticism about his level, Subaru adeptly deflected Grax's attempt to assault him with a storm of bullets using his red ball technique. This led to Grax's rapid defeat, leaving the men in disbelief. Observing these extraordinary events, Sayaka speculated on Subaru's actual rank, contemplating the possibility of him being a gold-tier player. Seizing a moment, Subaru skillfully donned a thug's jacket, fitting flawlessly. He enigmatically smiled at Sayaka, leaving her spellbound and speechless as he proceeded to open the gate and venture into Caracal Canyon, a parallel realm. While Subaru was admiring the picturesque scenery, Sayaka inadvertently interrupted by inadvertently slamming a door into his head, disrupting his thoughts and prompting her to guide him on the mission's commencement. Her anxiety eased as she locked the door, acknowledging the condition that players couldn't exit until the boss was defeated, rendering the thugs unable to re-enter after regaining consciousness. Initially asserting his rightful claim to the gate, Subaru was swiftly corrected by Sayaka about the gate reservation processes, humbly acknowledging his ignorance regarding gate protocols. New to the environment, Subaru yearned for swift strength enhancement and sought Sayaka's companionship to conquer the gate, mutually agreeing to a 70-30 split of the reward. While they exchanged introductions, Subaru withheld his identity due to accusations surrounding a fallen copper player and adopted the pseudonym Vanquish, the Rainbow Door's ruler. Sayaka mused on his possible foreign origin, as a fellow companion urged an immediate journey. A stone hurled toward Sayaka was nimbly pulverized by her fist, raising alarm about their impending adversaries, a cohort of goblins and kobolds en route. Displaying unwavering confidence, Sayaka urged Subaru to entrust these foes to her expertise, showcasing her remarkable agility and skill diversity to incapacitate the incoming monsters swiftly. Employing her instant void ability, she effortlessly subdued the enemies, earning Subaru's admiration for her unmatched strength in vanquishing each foe with a single decisive strike. Though her skill could immobilize adversaries briefly, holding them for merely 3 seconds, Sayaka pleaded tearfully for Subaru's assistance, acknowledging a flaw in her technique. Subaru, considering alternatives and refraining from using his hazardous blood mold skill, tactfully employed red threads, entwining the goblins and kobolds, piquing Sayaka's interest. Subaru deftly handled the threads, propelling the creatures away in one swift motion, ensuring their elimination. The victorious encounter caused Subaru's body to emit a radiant glow, marking his ascension to level 4. His blood mold skill gained an extension, allowing a duration of 15 seconds. Notably, all his battle-induced injuries were miraculously healed, signaling a substantial surge in strength and full restoration of his health and mana. Sayaka, intrigued by Subaru's success, approached, while Subaru commended her exceptional skills, leaving her slightly perplexed. Upon hearing Subaru acknowledge the remarkable potency of Sayaka's skill, which essentially rendered her indomitable in one-on-one conflicts, Sayaka was struck by the revelation of her own untapped potential. Guided by Subaru to a specific terrain to put her abilities to the test, Sayaka hurried towards the specified location, engaging the existing monsters. Fueled by determination, she repetitively struck these monsters, utilizing her skill in calculated intervals, culminating in the defeat of a level 6 goblin. Her eyes shimmered with a sense of wonder and achievement at the successful implementation of this approach, motivating her to continue challenging the monsters with her newfound technique. In the midst of her confrontation, a notification signaled the arrival of the gate's formidable boss monster. However, time was a critical factor as the boss had already engaged Subaru. This formidable boss comprised two high-level creatures, the Goblin Chief and the sizable Kobold. As Subaru decided to confront this formidable opponent on his own, Sayaka was in awe of his resilience but found herself challenged in contributing due to the significant disparity in levels, rendering her instant void skill ineffective against the boss. Consequently, she focused on eliminating the minor threats and carefully monitored Subaru's strenuous battle. Sensing the escalating intensity of the battle, Subaru propelled a series of blood-formed blades towards the boss monster. The nimble Kobold skillfully evaded the assault, catching Subaru off guard. Meanwhile, the Goblin Chief unleashed a relentless onslaught of arrows. Subaru swiftly crafted multiple shields using his blood mold skill to counter the barrage but found himself at a marked disadvantage. The agile Kobold evaded his moves while the proficient Goblin Chief's ranged attacks posed a substantial challenge. Subaru grappled to identify a vulnerability amid the synchronized assault from these adversaries. In a decisive turn, the Goblin Chief activated a skill called Perforation at level 3, emitting a luminous white light, intensifying an already arduous struggle. Subaru's reflexes fell short against the boss's rapid, unforeseen strike. Helpless, he couldn't dodge the arrow that pierced him, causing a splatter of blood. Sensing the boss's calculated intelligence, Subaru recognized the initial skill as a cunning lure, plunging him into a growing sense of hopelessness, trapped without a clear plan. Before the Goblin Chief could launch its attack, Sayaka intervened, delivering a punch to the large Kobold. Surprisingly, she activated her instant void skill, despite the usual requirement of a 3-level gap, rendering the large Kobold incapacitated, a testament to her skill's effectiveness. Noticing the passage through which the minor monsters had arrived, now all obliterated, Sayaka ascended to level 9, consistently stunning the level 12 Kobold. Persistently, she immobilized the creature every 3 seconds, but a new challenge emerged as the Goblin Chief leaped to unleash its skill. Calmly, Sayaka entrusted this opponent to Subaru, who eagerly embraced the responsibility. Skillfully using his threads, he morphed them into a pliant substance, hurtling toward the airborne Goblin Chief with astonishing speed. Adroitly altering the properties of the pliant threads into a rope, Subaru ensnared the monster's neck, ensuring the demise of the formidable Kobold. Notifying Subaru of his level up to level 6 once more, the system erased his injuries and restored his HP and MP completely. Recalling Tayaga's maneuver, Subaru employed Derivation Bloodfest, intercepting the Goblin Chief's incoming arrow with his blood-armored fist, leading to the monster's defeat. Notifications of Subaru's advancements appeared, his blood mold skill now extended to last for 20 seconds. Witnessing the entire spectacle, Sayaka found it difficult to grasp their triumph over all the monsters within the gate. Subaru turned to her, solidifying their success. The system officially confirmed their triumphant mission accomplishment, clearing the gate remarkably within 16 minutes, leaving ample time.